Now to the tragedy in New Orleans. 10 people are dead and at least 35 others are injured when a man now identified as 42-year-old Shamsud Din Jabbar drove a pickup truck into a crowd on Bourbon Street early this morning.
Our Tara Molina is live in our newsroom. She has been gathering the latest developments on this today. Tara?
Maria and Erica, we just heard from law enforcement, politicians, and investigators in New Orleans in an update this afternoon. They're warning the area is still a very active crime scene with possible explosive devices located in the French Quarter. The scene on Bourbon Street in New Orleans, French Quarter, where investigators say 42-year-old Shamsud Din Jabbar drove a pickup truck with an ISIS flag on it, killing at least 10 people and injuring dozens more. He then got out of the car, shooting at police, injuring 2 officers who were hospitalized and expected to be okay. Police returned fire, killing him.
Weapons and potential improvised explosive devices, IEDs, were located in the subject's vehicle. Other potential IEDs were also located in the French Quarter. As of now, 2 IEDs have been found and rendered safe.
The FBI is leading the investigation, investigated as an act of terrorism. The FBI is still looking into Din Jabbar's background. Investigators would only confirm he was an Army veteran from Texas, believed to have been honorably discharged. As New Orleans law enforcement officials and politicians were pressed repeatedly about the lack of barricades or bollards like these, blocking the roadway and the sidewalk that could have prevented this attack. Officials said the mechanical barricades were malfunctioning and under repair ahead of the Super Bowl in February. Police said a cruiser was set up blocking the roadway, but the suspect drove onto the sidewalk, evading anything blocking the roadway.
So we did indeed have a plan, but the terrorist defeated it.
We recognize we got a problem right here, right? We're going to fix it. It is going to be a top priority as we go into the Super Bowl and Mardi Gras, and the solution that we're going to come up with is going to be a permanent one.
We brought concerns about lack of barriers to security expert Phil Andrew, who has decades of experience in the FBI.
And they have, regular huge crowds. So their everyday preparations are significant and more than many places you would expect for large crowds. But that something did happen here, and we always have to do a full review to understand what vulnerability was exploited.
Take a look at your screen. We're giving you a live look at what Bourbon Street looks like right now. Remember, this is still an active crime scene this afternoon. The FBI is looking into whether anyone helped the attacker place possible explosives in the area, and they're asking for the public's help with information and photos. Coming up tonight at 5, we'll have more from security expert Phil Andrews. Reporting live in the newsroom, I'm Tara Molina, CBS News Chicago.
Tara, thank you. President Joe Biden says he's getting continual briefings on the New Orleans tragedy. He told reporters how he felt when he heard the news.
Well, the reaction was one of anger and frustration. Thank you.
On X, the president later wrote, "My heart goes out to the victims and their families who were simply trying to celebrate the holiday. There is no justification for violence of any kind, and we will not tolerate any attack on any of our nation's communities." On his Truth Social network, President-elect Donald Trump called the attack an act of pure evil. He wrote, "Our hearts are with all of the innocent victims and their loved ones, including the brave officers of the New Orleans Police Department."
As the investigation continues in New Orleans, officials are pushing back tonight's Sugar Bowl college football game. The Georgia Bulldogs were supposed to take on Notre Dame tonight at the Caesars Superdome. That's about a mile from the scene of the tragedy. Instead, they have delayed that game until 3 p.m. Central Time tomorrow to review security measures. The Superdome is also the site of this year's Super Bowl happening in February. We'll continue to follow developments coming out of New Orleans and update you throughout this newscast, as well as online and on our streaming network on CBSChicago.com.